Well, good morning, everyone. Let me first of all just thank you for being here with us today. Honored to be joined by our great First Lady, Marty Kemp, strong supporter, as you know, of our men and women in law enforcement. Also proud to be standing with the heads of both state and local law enforcement agencies, all of whom have been valued partners in this ongoing efforts to make every community in our state a safe place to call home. They include Colonel Wright of the Georgia State Patrol, Director Reynolds of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Director, I want to congratulate you and the department and the gang strike force on a major drug bust in Gwinnett County recently. Commissioner Williams and Colonel Bernard of the Department of Natural Resources, James Bergman, Director of Special Operations for the Department of Community Supervision, Chief Bryan of the Atlanta Police Department, and Sheriff Labatt of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office. I'll also want to note the leadership in the General Assembly, certainly Lieutenant Governor Duncan, Speaker Ralston. I know we got several members of the General Assembly who are here with us today that have been supporting all the efforts of those behind us. But I especially want to recognize and thank the men and women in uniform who surround us here today, representing law enforcement across different levels and agencies. These brave officers are on the front lines in the fight against criminals and street gangs. They face danger on a regular basis and go above and beyond to keep their fellow Georgians safe. They have more than earned our deep appreciation, and they continue to make Georgia proud every day. So please join me in thanking them for their great work and service. Thank you all. In the very first article of our state constitution are these words: protection to person and property is the paramount duty of government and shall be impartial and complete. In other words, public safety is the number one responsibility of government. The rise in crime that we've been facing in many communities across Georgia is unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable to the law enforcement organizations represented here today, and it's certainly unacceptable to the people that we serve. That's why roughly a year ago, I called for the creation of the multi-agency crime suppression unit that would combine the efforts and capabilities of both those on the state and local levels, acting as a force multiplier to bring the fight to the criminals. And as I've said, shortly after this unit began this good fight, we will use every resource at our disposal to rid our communities of crime and keep Georgia families safe. Some of those resources are on display here this morning, so you can see firsthand what we're putting into this fight. And this represents just a fraction of the $5 million in emergency funds and resources I directed to the crime suppression operation since the unit's inception. Today, I'm proud to report impressive updated numbers as a result of those resources, but especially as a result of the dedication and skill of the men and women who courageously go out during each wave of a crime suppression operation to combat the dangers that are on our streets. Since April of 2021, those men and women have been responsible for the following in the metro Atlanta area alone: over 23,600 vehicle stops, 588 DUI stops, 213 drug arrests, 572 pursuits, almost 1,300 vehicles impounded, almost 16,000 citations rendered, 451 wanted persons arrested, of which 26 were murder suspects, 342 stolen or missing weapons secured, and 312 stolen vehicles recovered with a running value of almost $6.5 million. And there are other operations taking place outside the metro Atlanta area, including Columbus and Macon. A full list of these growing accomplishments will be made public today. And I want to emphasize that just because we're year in does not mean the end of these efforts. This is only an update. These resources will continue to patrol our streets and communities in support of our hardworking law enforcement officers who will continue to fight the good fight. And as they do so, we expect the judiciary to fulfill its responsibility and sentence offenders appropriately so they don't end up right back on the streets. A revolving door of justice is no justice, and it must end. I'm encouraged by yesterday's announcement, which includes the Atlanta Police Department and the Fulton County Sheriff's Office, that they're creating a repeat offender tracking unit. With that, I'm happy to turn it over to the man who has done an outstanding job leading this unit over the last year, as well as our State Department of Public Safety, Colonel Chris Wright of the Georgia State Patrol. Colonel.
Good morning. First and foremost, I want to publicly thank the members of the Department of Public Safety who have embraced and worked so hard on this mission to reduce crime in Atlanta. I also want to thank our partners, the Department of Natural Resources, the Department of Community Supervision, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the Atlanta Police Department, Fulton Sheriff's Office, and so many of the other surrounding metro agencies. Just as an example of our effective cooperation, we located a kidnapped victim in a grocery store and subsequently arrested the assailant. Together, we have arrested 9 major street racing organizers in the metro area. We are stronger together, and the results have helped make our capital city much safer. Secondly, I want to thank Governor Kemp for his leadership on this mission. It was Governor Kemp who saw citizens' lives in danger and their livelihoods at risk due to the reckless and criminal behavior that was plaguing the city of Atlanta. It was his vision to begin the crime suppression operations to help combat crime, and it was his vision to create a full-time crime suppression unit. So, Governor, we appreciate you and the First Lady's support of our profession and your commitment to keeping Georgians safe. Thank you. As you heard from Governor Kemp, the stats reflect a tremendous amount of hard work and dedication. Without a doubt, the amount of wanted fugitives, murder suspects, guns, and stolen vehicles that have been removed from the streets of Metro Atlanta have made a positive impact. Proactive policing and high visibility patrols result in crime reduction and improve the quality of life for our citizens. We share the governor's vision of reducing crime and making Georgia's communities safer. Policing is more dangerous than ever, and a fewer amount of people are accepting the challenge to keep our roads, communities, and cities safe. The work they are doing is honorable, it's meaningful, and it's important. When you see a law enforcement officer, thank them for their courage and commitment to continue to serve the communities in our state. Thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to Director Vic Reynolds with the GBI.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vic Reynolds. I'm the Director of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Let me just take a moment to thank you for this time. I'll be very brief. I also want to echo Colonel Wright's statements a moment ago. Thank this governor for his vision in this area. I want to thank Colonel Wright as well for his leadership. I also want to take a moment to thank our state and local partners. We appreciate, on behalf of the Bureau, being a part of this operation, and we thank them for standing shoulder to shoulder with us day in and day out. The GBI's involvement in this was a dual purpose involvement. We serve both a real-time investigative and analytical support role. We had actual agents, boots on the grounds, working undercover during these operations, providing information back to our GSAC Center, that's our Intelligence Sharing and Analysis Center, where our intelligence analysts would vet that information, then disseminate it back out to the boots on the ground folks working the details to make sure they had real-time intelligence and information in order to operate from. We continue to have an analyst on call at all times to provide intelligence information requests made by the members of the detail, and to work collaboratively with those individuals, both from our state and local partners. I will tell you unequivocally, in over 35 years of working in this area, both as a police officer, a prosecutor, a judge, an elected DA, and now as a director of the Bureau, I've never seen an operation work more seamlessly than this one. It is the best example that I believe I've seen in all those years of what can happen when we work together. As most of you know, unequivocally, bad actors don't pay attention to city limits. They don't pay attention to county lines. In order for us to combat that, we have to have a strong network, and this is a great example of that. So again, on behalf of the GBI, I want to thank my partners behind me, particularly Colonel Wright, the DNR folks, Atlanta PD, DCS, the Sheriff's Department here in Fulton, for allowing the Bureau to be a small part of this operation, to stand shoulder to shoulder with them, and we will continue to do that day in and day out. So again, thank you very much, and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Williams. Thank you.